going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 12 of the Creator Series here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today I welcomed an artist from Detroit, Michigan. His name is Versatile313, the 313 area code, obviously, for Michigan, for Detroit. He's a singer-songwriter, guitarist. He also does a little bit of rapping in some of his music. He's got a lot of music out on SoundCloud right now. He said he's got an EP he's working on that will be coming probably to all platforms, so look out for that. We talked about a lot of great stuff today. We talked about him coming up, going to Cass High School, which is actually the high school that Big Sean went to. And he talked about how he was in, I believe it was a program that Big Sean had started with Adidas, and that really helped him kind of begin his musical journey and everything. He really gave a lot of great info on just how, we got to be patient in really this whole, if you want to call it a game of music, we just got to really practice patience and practice just grinding every single day as much as we can. And even when we get discouraged, we just got to realize that, there will be better days. Even if we wake up some days and we feel like we just don't want to do it today, we just got to figure out how to grind through it. And he just gave a lot of great gems as far as that goes and a lot of other cool information. So I was happy to have him on the show, and let's get into the episode. Okay, welcome everyone to episode number 12 of the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today we're joined by a singer, songwriter, guitarist. He does a lot of great stuff, very talented, out of Michigan, and he goes by the name of Versatile313. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you here, like I just said before the intro here. So we basically start every episode, just kind of give the listeners and the people who haven't heard of you or heard of your music, just kind of give a little background about yourself, how you got into music, what your name's all about, all that good stuff.
Okay. So background about myself. I come up out of Detroit. I started my grind in 2015, taking music seriously. While I was in high school, I was in my junior year. That grind was sparked from me being in a studio program from Big Sean and Adidas, putting that in my high school, which was Cass Tech.
Nice.
Ever since that, I got a glimpse of what I could be doing with my life as far as being a recording artist was concerned. So ever since then, I took that leap and started taking things seriously. And about my name comes from, actually my dad picked it out. I was brainstorming for some time of a good artist name to pick for myself. And it was pretty hard. I was trying to pull from my real name, and it just wasn't working out. And then, my dad brought it to my attention to, why not pick Versatile? Because you do this, this, and this. So ever since then, it just stuck.
I know a lot of people, some people start off with their real name as their artist name, and they kind of run with that for a little bit. Actually, one of my friends out of Chicago, he used his real name for a while, and then he kept switching names back and forth, and then he ended up using his abbreviated first name and his last name, and that's what he's been running with. But I think as far as branding goes, it's kind of cool. Like your name, for example, you could do a lot of cool stuff with that. And then
Definitely.
How you have the 313, and you can relate that to Detroit and everybody in Michigan that kind of knows what that's all about and everything. So, and I don't know, because I was talking to you last night about what time zone you were on and everything, and I was like, wait a minute, it says 313 in his name, and I was like, oh, well, he's not too far from, because I'm in Ohio, so I'm not too far from where you're at, so I'm like, oh shit, he's right above me pretty much. So
right, exactly.
I had to connect the dots and everything, and so that's pretty cool. You said you went to Cass. Now I know there's been a lot of people. I don't know if Big Sean went there. I know one of his producers, Q Wayne, went to that school, because I've heard about that school, and there's a lot of musically talented people that have come out of there. So that's pretty cool that you came from there. How old are you? Are you 24, 25?
I'm 22.
Oh,
22 years old.
Nice.
And it's true that Big Sean did go there, and he graduated from there.
Nice.
I actually got a chance to see him several times in Cass. Never really officially met him. Met his mom and everything, but I definitely saw him quite a few times up in there.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of him, so that was definitely cool to see that you have that connection there. So another question I've kind of been kicking off every episode with is just kind of asking everyone how they've been doing in 2020 with the pandemic and a lot of things that have been going on over the past 5 or 6 months now. And I just want to know from you, what have you personally been doing to kind of stay sane and just kind of keep motivated to continue to be creative during this whole time?
Yes. To stay sane, I would say prayer, definitely. Being locked in with my family, being locked in with my friends, everyone who I'm close to. And as far as being creative goes, my room is pretty much like my musical sanctuary to a degree.
Mm.
So even if I'm cooped up in my room, I have a keyboard, I have guitars, I have an electronic drum kit, and I have my creative mind to just cultivate the ideas that I have. The time that I would spend hustling a lot and, doing gigs and opportunities, in a way, now I have so much time on my hands to, sit with myself, with my ideas, and reflect on them, and to pan out how exactly I would want to, do things. How would I, approach, my next ideas? I've had time to build vision boards, to put out my ideas and truly get a grasp of who I am, and tend to certain levels of reflection that would not be had with just the hustle and bustle of life.
Yeah.
So to stay creative, I just write, I sing a lot, rap, and I hop on people's Instagram lives from time to time too, to still connect and expose myself. Even at home, I'm still doing what I can to make sure that my name is getting out there in some way, shape, or form.
I've talked on a lot of episodes so far. Kind of everyone's kind of had the same like answers as far as like just they've been trying to just continue to work on the music and work on like their branding and things like that as an artist. And it's good for us as like being able to make music. We don't have to like rely on like having to go anywhere most of the time. Like you said, you have a lot of home like equipment and studio things you can just take and use right in your house, and you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to always go to a studio. And a lot of people have been learning too, if they were in a studio, they're learning how to do things on their own now. So they're learning how to get a computer, hook up a microphone and record themselves, and have producers send them beats and things like that, and just kind of figure out a new way of doing things. So I think we're very fortunate to have like all the technology that we have nowadays, and just be able to put 2 and 2 together and just continue on what we're doing. And I know for me too, like I've just, with the free time, I think I've been like not only doing this podcast and everything, and that's been a huge help, but also just as far as my music goes, I've been able to do more projects, work with more people. So I think it's just you got to utilize the time you've been given and just turn that into a positive instead of just thinking about all the negative things. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So
definitely,
it's definitely something that I think we can all, agree that is very important. Do you have anybody that has been kind of helping you out recently with, I don't know, putting videos together, putting other things together as far as maybe like mixing, mastering? Like, do you have any like team with you that kind of like a core group of people that kind of helps you put your music together at all, or have you been kind of just maneuvering that on your own?
As far as it goes with putting my music together, that is really for the most part all me. As far as creating, editing, and or revising anything that I have, thought about doing. The creative part is me. As far as the linguistics of everything, and like say if I want to, grab a hold of an opportunity, to make some money, or just to go out and give people a good vibe, because I've went out into different parks. I have sang at different people's occasions, maybe birthday parties and whatnot. As far as that goes, I have a close-knit team around me, including family, that helps me to ground myself in everything I do, and to make sure that my I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So yeah, I do have a team for that. And then when it comes to mixing and mastering, I just go to any studio that I know of, that I trust, and I get business done that way.
Yeah, for engineers, I always feel like it's important as an artist and like producers and stuff to get an engineer that really like knows your sound and knows your preference and knows kind of what you like, and they can kind of add things to the table that might help you out that you didn't think of and everything. So I think it's good, and they kind of serve too as like another ear, in like they might hear something that you didn't think about, and they might want to add that in or like add a cool effect or something. So I think that's always good to have like certain engineers to work with that they kind of know exactly what you want, or at least close to kind of what you go for in your music and everything. I didn't know like how many songs you had released already. I knew you had a single, I forget what it was called. It had a featured artist on it. You had that not too long ago, but I didn't know how many like songs you had like finished or released or anything. So
I definitely have a single out.
Yeah.
It's called Dedication, and the featured artist on that single is my sister, my older sister. And I do have other music released, but it is in within a collective. I collaborate with other artists. Like I am on an album called Core Life, which was done by me and my core brothers on the Friday Night Cypher. From Hot 107.5, which is a Detroit station. I've been part of that show for a long time, and I'm still a core member. It's taking a break right now, but when we were all together and just rapping together and everything, we decided to come up with an album together. So that is something that I'm on, sponsored by DJ BJ 3525. And other songs I have that are, just collaborations and whatnot. As far as my own music goes, I do have some music that I've done on SoundCloud. And then there is the song that I have, which is Dedication, which is my like primary single that I show to people. I am currently still working on some music right now. Currently just got a studio session done to put out my next single, and I'm looking to release that pretty soon.
Nice. I'm looking forward to hearing that, because I had seen the one on Apple Music and I had checked that out and everything, and that was really dope. So I was looking forward to hearing more and everything. And I like that idea about the radio station kind of putting like a lot of different people together and do an album and everything. I haven't heard that idea, so that's very good. While we're on the topic of kind of your music and your career, I wanted to know what has been so far for you the best advice you've been given about how to kind of just do music as a career. Like, has anyone given you anything that you've really taken to heart and that has helped you in any way so far?
And I have the pleasure of coming in contact with so many important people, so many influential people who have taken the initiative and applied the consistency on their journey to be great. And through that, I've met, older artists or industry folk in the game, and people my age. But I would say, because there's so many things that I have been imparted, I would say one of the things that have stuck out to me when it comes to my musical journey is to pace myself and to just not rush, everything that is associated with this journey that I'm on. To be patient. Oh man, patience is one of the key things that I have been, taught and told, throughout this whole journey, because, I'm good at grinding. I'm good at going for everything that, I think of and within my desires. It's just like there gets points, in the journey where, you put in a lot of work and you want to see the results, but, patience is the key. It's a virtue. It's the thing that keeps me going, or it keeps me content with the process and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I can show people what I'm doing. I can show people the results of everything. But in the meantime, there is a process. There's time in between every accomplishment you see me do. So patience is one of the key things.
Mm-hmm.
Patience and prayer, you know.
I think it's so easy too to like, especially in the internet age, we look at all the people we look up to and look at our peers and we see all of them doing all these cool things in their career and we're like, man, I want to do that, or I want to like be where they're at right now and everything. And it's, you got to kind of realize that like everyone's timing is going to be different as well. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you cannot just choose whatever time is going to be your time. It's like, it's going to come when it comes, but you just got to be consistent and just keep working through everything, and eventually it's going to happen for you over time. It's not just something that one day it just magically things start happening. It's just a very long, continuous journey. And like,
Yes.
just the getting ahead of yourself thing, like I feel like I've had to like kind of ground myself in that as well. Is just like I wanted so many things to happen like right off the bat, and then I had to really just sit and learn like that's not how it works. You got to really build relationships, you got to really build connections, and you got to really like take your time with it and just mold what you want to do and just build your ideas up. And over time, as your ideas get better and bigger, and it's just gonna overall just be so much better for you. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, man. And another thing is we have to learn to be compassionate with ourselves when it comes to this journey too, because especially in the creative field, like we can be such perfectionists.
Mm-hmm.
We can be so hard on ourselves to the point where we keep ourselves from advancing because we are so stuck on wanting to already be there rather than being in the moment of getting there, you know. And that's another thing that I've learned. Like, you're not going to have it all together. Not at once. You know, you will have an idea of what you want, and then all there is time, dedication, consistency, and believing in God to produce the best out of everything that you can control. You know, and you know, when I focus on things like that, it helps me to see the bigger picture of everything and to not take things so hard, because I guarantee you there has been times where I've even wanted to give up, you know, but it comes with it. It comes with it. So
I've definitely heard that too. It's just like every day isn't going to be just great all the time. Like you're going to have days where you wake up and you just feel like you don't want to do this anymore. Like you just want to fucking just be done. And like if that happens, like you just got to figure out how to get through that in a good way, and just know that even if you're in kind of a rut, like if you just keep going, things are only going to get better. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how I viewed it. So kind of moving on here, kind of segueing, who would you say are your biggest inspirations musically that have inspired you to be the artist that you are, or who you want to be, you think?
Okay. Okay, so my biggest inspirations are Chris Brown, Usher, Neo, Lauryn Hill, which is my birthday twin, by the way. Man, Brian McKnight, Joe, who else? Black Thought, Royce the 5'9", Big Sean, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Nas. Man, such a big influence. Nas. Man. And concrete and then change sometimes. But I'll say off the top, those, you know.
Yeah, those are all, I'm all familiar with pretty much everyone you just named, so that's definitely all a great list. Who do you think, out of that list, or anyone else that you didn't name, who do you think you ever want to do a song with?
Person I would want to do a song with definitely be and you say anybody outside of what I named?
Yeah. Yep.
Man. I would want to do a song with. Hmm, that's a tough question, but I'll say Usher. I'll say um, Neo. Man, Lauryn Hill. Um, man, I swear, more will come to me
Yeah.
after the fact. But
Yeah.
right now, those are off the top. And it's just local artists too, that I know of, that I admire their skill in songwriting. But for off the top, I'll say those.
Yeah, those are all great though. Like that's like my era too, is like Neo and Usher. I remember hearing all them on the radio as a kid and everything. So I'm very like in tune with that whole generation and everything. What do you think, as far as collaborating is concerned? What do you think is your favorite part about getting to work with other people? It could be, singers, songwriters, or it could be producers, or just anybody creatively. What do you think is the best part about that whole thing? Just getting to mash styles with someone else.
The best part about collaborating is um, getting inside the mind of the person that you're working with, and also um, picking up different things to add to yourself through working with somebody else, because we all have different creative styles. We all have different ways of viewing music, interpreting music, hearing music, feeling it. So when it comes to collaborating with someone else, both of you are literally coming together with separate ways of doing things and feeling and thinking about music to mix it together and to create something new. So I like to look at people's way of songwriting. How do you make a song flow? What is the way in which you construct melody? Yeah, it's like I love doing that. I love steps, and just connecting with another person's personal experiences too. When it comes to making music. So I think, and then just building a connection, relationships, networking.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best things about collaborating too.
I think it's important too. Like if you get the right person to collaborate with, like you can only get better when you're like putting your heads together and just kicking ideas back and forth. And like you can make great music on your own and everything, and that's cool. But I feel like there's just another element to collabing with someone and being able to come together and just put your ideas in one like basket, metaphorically, and just kind of see what comes out of that. So it's very important just to continue to collaborate. And myself, I love to collaborate with many different people and many different like assets of music. Like I like to work with rappers, singers, other producers, because I just want to see what happens. Like there's a very fun, almost energy to me when it comes to collaborating and just being able to figure out kind of each other's styles and each other's flavors and whatnot. So it's definitely something I would encourage everyone to do. So you were talking about local artists and how you have respect for certain artists. I was going to talk about kind of what do you think is kind of Detroit's and really Michigan in general's kind of music scene looking like in 2020, as far as like the people we might not know. Do you want to shed light on anybody that you work with or that you think is really good and that you might be wanting to work with or you are working with coming up?
I think Detroit's music scene is becoming a lot more appreciative of the mix that Detroit, has within it when it comes to creative people. Detroit is a mix of different styles of music, different styles of creativity. If you go to a showcase, a prominent showcase in Detroit, you will, hear the, normal Detroit flair that comes with the way Detroit artists rap, but you will also hear some of the more eccentric artists who don't necessarily fit into that stereotype that is associated with Detroit music, especially Detroit hip hop, because Detroit music is so much more than just the hip hop part of it. You have Motown, first of all, one of the pop, which I believe most people think of when they think of Detroit, the hip hop scene. Nine is one of the lyrical rappers that hail from Detroit that I appreciate, you know. And the scene is looking like it is becoming more appreciative of the different styles. Like Norm, as an example, there is a rapper named, I believe his name is BFB, the Pac-Man. And his whole style is, it can be pretty comical up front. But at the end of the day, the dude is just being himself. The dude is being himself, saying things that rappers wouldn't normally say, he's even, you know, hitting on insecurities within himself in some of his bars. But the way his approach is comical to where it's just like, man, that still hits. It still go crazy. And presentation of his energy is different from the norm of the normal Detroit rapper. He do this himself. And you know, he dances all the time. You don't usually get that with the normal Detroit rapper.
I think the other question I had was, as far as like the indie artists go, is there anybody specifically that you were working with or had planned to work with that you kind of just wanted to let people know about?
Okay. BEVI. Dope artist, dope brother. You know, he does this thing with rapping, and dude is lyrical, but he has his own style. Shout out to my bro Nappy Debbie. We have a song together called Seven. We've even collaborated on other things. Another artist, I would say, if I could list all of my core brothers from the Friday Night Cypher, I would just say, shout out to all my core brothers from the Friday Night Cypher, man. Y'all are something else. They doing their thing, you know, grinding and everything. I love, you know, making music with them. But yeah, I would say for the most part, off the top, that are some artists that I've collaborated with that I would definitely give a shout out to.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check some of them out and everything, because I always like to ask kind of the more independent artists, like who they work with, and if I like their music, I feel like I'll probably like, you know, some of their collaborators' music as well. So that's definitely something I'll look into. Let's kind of switch to more a business side of music. What do you think has been a struggle as far as like finances go? Kind of how much money are you putting into music compared to what you're putting into other things? And has there been anything that has kind of been tough for you in the past few years as far as balancing the financial side with your music?
I would say, as far as it goes with how much money putting into other things versus music, I would say the struggle with that is prioritizing, just prioritizing. I think in a general sense, people can tend to either try to take the shortcut with like putting their money towards things that don't necessarily serve them as a musician in the long run, for a temporary boosting gratification. I would say, and as opposed to paying for other things, it's just like weigh out what will really serve you for the long term, because you know the same money you put towards buying a new cool pair of shoes could be the same money that you put towards investing in your brand. And when it comes to being an artist, there are things you have to view yourself as a business essentially still. So it's like when it comes to viewing yourself as a business, not only are you investing in putting a product out, but you should also be investing in owning your creativity. So that goes with the copywriting, the registration with a publishing company such as ASCAP, BMI, getting certain things in order so that you set yourself up to own and to reap the benefits of your creativity.
Mm.
I believe that's a big thing that usually, the average artist may have some struggle with. To me, I would say taking the risks is one of the biggest things. Because going back to the perfectionist thing that I mentioned, my perfectionist side of myself has held me back from getting things in gear a lot earlier than I should have.
Mm.
So now I've, taken the risk to put my money where my mouth is and getting certain things in order. So that's what I would say.
I think too, like you were just talking about, as far as knowing like where to separate your money from and like what to spend on and invest on. I think like a lot of people, if they aren't really serious about being an artist, they don't understand that you have to invest in yourself and like very much so have a plan as far as what you're gonna put your money into and just have things mapped out. And like budgeting goes for pretty much everything you do money wise, so that includes your music too. Like it's not just something you can just throw randomly certain amounts of money at. But I think to me it's always been like, if you're really serious about it and you want to do it like as a career, you should at least have a plan in place and be very serious about like what you're trying to do with that plan and everything. So I, like me personally, I went from like being in high school and buying all these shoes and buying all these clothes and shit, and then I got out of high school and I was like, I want to do music, and I'm like, okay, I need to lay off of just buying things like that all the time, because that's just gonna waste my money away when I could take that money and invest it into my career and building up what I want to actually do. So it's really just about prioritizing what is really important to you. And if you don't view that as important and you don't want to invest in your career, you really probably shouldn't be doing music at all.
Exactly.
You should probably just do something else and just stop wasting your time if that's, kind of how your viewpoint is. But I definitely like kind of your take on that, and just really viewing what's really important in your career and knowing that that is something that you have to put in your life and really kind of value it. So, so we only got a few more questions here. I won't keep you too much longer. If you could go back 10 years and kind of just give some advice to your past self, or just tell your past self something, what do you think you would say to yourself?
Your gifts will make room for you.
Mm.
Your gifts will make room for you.
Mm.
That's all I would say, man. Because, even my past self was very adamant about, paying attention to my gifts. But then again, when it comes to this journey again, you have your ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
I believe following my passion was one of the key things in building my confidence and realizing who I am. So, years ago, I was only sort of kind of getting a grip on what I could do and the way that I could do it. And, there would be times that, I wouldn't be as confident in, who I am. And all I would say to myself then is, your gift will make room for you. Just stay at it.
So if you could go 10 years from now, where do you think you want to be as far as your career and just your life in general?
I want to be, and man, I'm glad you asked this question, because now it gives me a chance to insert another main influence musically, and a person that I want to be like. 10 years from now, I will want to be as close as to a music mogul like Jay-Z that I could get. I want to tap into every gift that God has given me, and to, just take it as far as I can go. I don't really have a set idea of, how much money I will want to make. I know that I will want to continue growing in what I get, of course, but I just want to get to a level to where I'm constantly grabbing a hold of opportunities, get to a level where I am truly making a living from my craft, building greater relationships, owning more things, having greater streams of income, multiple streams of income, and just feeling even more fulfilled and independent and who I am as a creative person. I think that is where I want to see myself 10 years from now.
It's important too, I think, just to have that steady growth and like just expanding kind of what you want to do, and just I think over time, like we talked about, the journey is just like it can only go up. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get more opportunities, you're gonna meet new people, and it's just gonna help you out more and more as it goes on. It's just about just being patient and waiting for the right opportunities. So, but I definitely love all the stuff you just said. So, good luck with all that, man. Really, like I feel like you can really do whatever you want to do as long as you got that work ethic. So, and I think you got it. So,
thank you.
I know you mentioned your single you got coming out. Do you have like an album or anything else that you're working on that might be coming soon?
The single that I have coming out is I am planning on having it be part of an EP that I want to put together for the entirety of it. So, yeah, just like how artists put out different singles and then they end up being part of a big album. That's how I'm planning on doing these singles to come, to be part of a big EP that is geared towards just showing different sides of myself musically. So yeah, the first single is going to be called Justice, and it is basically a song showcasing my lyrical ability, and just giving people the introduction and initial glimpse of what I plan to give them musically. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing it for sure. I'll definitely be on the lookout and everything for it. I know you're on Instagram. Do you have any other social medias you kind of want to just let people know about, where they could find you and all that?
Yeah. So, primarily all my social medias are Versatile313. I have personal accounts that I would rather just keep that way. So if anybody wants to follow me, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook, Versatile313. Come and follow the journey.
Nice. I'll put all the handles in like the description and everything, so they can see that as well. Any final words of wisdom today?
Man, words of wisdom to anybody who's hearing this right here. This is a journey, man. So please do all you can to perceive what you're going through in that sense. This is a whole journey. There is no one-stop destination for your life, for your gifts, for your level of skill, for your income, all of that. Stay prayed up, consistent with your work ethic, and continue to build relationships with people who serve to benefit the energy you already give out. Build a constructive circle around you, and don't be afraid to open up to new opportunities, especially opportunities that get you outside your comfort zone. And man, that's all I would say.
Nice.
That's all I would say.
All well said. Like, really, like, I feel like you just brought a lot of great information to the show today, and that's all I had for you. But like I said, I wish you luck on everything you got going on. I'm looking forward to hearing this EP. I'm looking forward to seeing like what else you can come up with. Hopefully when live shows come back, I might be able to see you one day, because I saw you doing a lot of live shows before the pandemic and everything. Yeah. So hopefully we can hopefully we can do the podcast again sometime. Maybe get you back on the show one day.
I'm with it.
Awesome. Well, take care, man. I appreciate it again.
For sure, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks again, everyone, for listening. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. If there was any editing issues in this episode, I apologize. Some of the middle kind of got cut off, and I'm going to try to work on that in the future and get that right. But I still hope everyone took a lot of great info from this episode, and I was happy to have Versatile on the episode today. So, like I said, we'll see you this time next week. Thanks.